Boneddigion a boneddigesau. Ladies and gentlemen, it's game week. We're finally here, Guto, after the long, painful months of the summer, spring before that. It's finally, we are literally just over 24 hours from the first regular season game of the 2026 NFL, 2025-2026 NFL season. And our first week one preview together on the pod as well. This is so happy, not even happy birthday, but I guess happy anniversary, happy first regular week for us here on the pod. Obviously, as you can probably tell, myself and Guitar are beyond hyped. And we are here on the NFL podcast. We are ready. We're going to give you some previews. We're going to take you through most of the key matchups and what we'll be looking for and the games that we're going to be looking out for, and perhaps maybe the games that you should be watching over the weekend, because there are some absolute barnstormers for the week ones, and we'll get that into that very, very soon. However, Gitta, on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how excited are you at the moment?
If I can break the scales, David, it goes over. It goes over. This is what we've been counting down to pretty much all year since after the Super Bowl. We gave our viewers a taste of what we are, what we want to deliver. So we're going to show that to them through the new season now. So week one is just just over 24 hours until it's underway. We've been counting down on social medias. Apologies, by the way, for missing out on the Saturday countdown. I think we were a little bit too distracted with college football opening weekend. So I did miss a day in the countdown, but, you know, it happens.
We'll forgive you for it, Guitar. To be fair, you've been on it. You've been really on it. Well done. And let's be honest, Guitar, it's also time for... it's time for the, I guess, the despair, the disappointment, or the euphoria if your team is doing well to begin. Because obviously at the beginning of every season, even if you're, for an example, with all due respect to Cynan Guto, who might be watching or might be listening to this, who is the host of the Ydy'r Helmed yn Ffitio pod, by the way, which is a Welsh language pod, shout out to that. If you're a Saints fan, you even if you have 5% of hope that you might be, in the mix for potentially more than 4 or 5 wins, even as a Dolphins fan, Guto, I've been seeing a lot of NFL insiders who've been obviously previewing and have given their records, what their records are going to be by the end of the season. And I've seen the majority have given the Dolphins 4, 5 or 6 win seasons, which I'm actually okay with, because I'd rather the Dolphins for once to go under the radar. It's time for us to go under the radar. We're always in the spotlight because of dramas with, in-house. I mean, Guto, in the last 24 hours, our linebackers coach has been arrested for domestic abuse. It's like, come on, man. We're less than 24 hours away. We're during our, week one of the regular season, and this happens. It always happens to the Dolphins. But anyway, like I said, everyone has hope at this time of the year, and then maybe it even gradually gets better, or it gets slimmer after every single loss. So we're going to be on that roller coaster ride with you. However, Guto, we have to start off because between the last episode and today, a blockbuster trade has gone down, and we have to talk about this because ultimately a lot of people are saying that this potentially might be one of the biggest trades in the NFL ever.
This blew everyone away, I think. The Cowboys are trading their defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. It's a 4-year deal, $188 million, with $136 million guaranteed.
Show me the money.
Many talks. There were rumors, obviously, that Micah Parsons wanted to trade, wanted out.
Yeah.
I generally didn't realize there was going to be that big of a money. He's a great superstar. Obviously, he's been one of the Cowboys' best players in the last few seasons. The money is exceptional.
It's wild.
It's crazy. I don't think anybody expected him to go to the Packers. Well, I don't
Nope.
think if you're thinking of the teams that he could go to, we always just thought teams like the Eagles,
Hmm.
teams of that stature. But the Green Bay Packers, who hasn't done a whole lot during free agency, in my opinion, they've kept it till the very end. They've kept it just before week 1. They've splashed the cash.
Yes.
An unbelievable offer, an unbelievable contract. That one, David.
I mean, obviously, that's what everyone's been talking about over the last couple of days, I guess. Who won the trade? And I think it's quite unfair. We can't pinpoint it at the moment because ultimately Green Bay have had to pay an extortionate amount of picks here. So it's two first round picks and this star defensive tackle. What's his name? Rashawn Gary. Sorry, Rashawn Gary. They've sent him over, and he's a 2 or 3 time Pro Bowler as well. So they've lost a big piece as a defensive lineman. However, obviously they've gained probably the most dynamic defensive player in the NFL in Micah Parsons. Let's be honest. So if you're the Cowboys, you've received 2 first round picks. The only thing that I'd say is I think that they might be late first round picks because clearly the Packers are going all in. Like the Steelers have done this year. It's Aaron Rodgers' last season, let's be honest. They've signed Jalen Ramsey, they've signed DK Metcalf. The Green Bay Packers have done certainly something of the same because they're not going to have a first round pick now for 3 years. So they've heavily invested in Micah Parsons. Is he probably worth 2 first round picks and a Pro Bowl defensive lineman? We'll have to see because Git, I'm not sure if you've heard, but we're not even sure if he's 100% in terms of his fitness at the moment. He's been dealing with an injury throughout the off season, and apparently, although it doesn't need surgery, he's going to have some shots into that area. It's something to do with his back, I think, to make him 100%. But even Micah Parsons at 75-80% is going to be greatly better than the majority of defensive linemen in the NFL, defensive ends rather in the NFL. So in terms of that, like I said, the Packers are going all in. I don't know if I'm going to have to change my rankings, Gito, because obviously I put the Packers to finish 4th in the NFC North. A lot of people now are putting them maybe 2nd behind the Detroit Lions. But the problem is, outside of Micah Parsons, I'm not sure if I'm convinced that they're 100% there. I know they've got they drafted a really exciting wide receiver in Luther Burden in the end of the first round in the draft. I don't know. A lot of it relies on the shoulders of their quarterback Jordan Love and whether he can A, stay healthy, and B, he can deliver in clutch time. I see Green Bay potentially now making the playoffs as a wild card team, but maybe losing in the first round. But like I said, it's a long season. Micah Parsons is an absolute wrecking ball, so anything can happen. Who do you think? As in, if you're the Cowboys, would you be happy with what you got in return?
You can't go wrong with the 2 first round picks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I think anyone will accept that. You see trades happening sometimes, and they usually offer a 2nd round, 3rd round pick. It's quite rare sometimes that you do receive a 1st round pick, especially multiple 1st round picks.
Yeah.
So you're losing one of your best players, but in return, you get to shop for one of the shop extra in the 1st round for a future superstar of your franchise. So you can look at it both ways. Obviously, like I said, you're losing your best player, but receiving 1st round picks, which is very rare in the NFL these days, I don't think you can go wrong with that deal. And they received a player in return as well.
Yeah.
So they're not so much empty-handed, but obviously being a Dallas Cowboys fans, being a fan of the Dallas Cowboys is a roller coaster anyway. They call themselves, and we like to say it all the time, the American team, American America's team. But yeah, it's one of them. But 2 first-round picks, I think anybody would have taken it, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I mean, you know, I think we already knew the narrative was that Micah Parsons was out of Dallas. He was done by Dallas. He made it very, very clear. He had a chat with the owner, Jerry Jones, and he made his feelings very, very clear that he had no intentions of coming back to the team. So he was done. I think they clearly did the right thing, and I'm actually quite shocked that they managed to get as much of a haul back for him. I know that he was going to demand at least a first, if not 2 first-round picks, but 2 first-round picks and a Pro Bowl player. I think the Cowboys would be very, very happy in order to ship potentially a lot. Some people would say quite a toxic individual with how he's dealt with this. And maybe some Cowboys fans will be happy to see, okay, this is a clean slate for them. They're looking good on offense. Well, especially in the wide receiver room, again, we'll see, how they are in terms of running back, O-line, how Dak is going to be this year. And I'm not convinced with their defense as well. So, but like I said, with 2 extra first-round picks, Dallas could either bunch them together if they're looking realistically to move on from Dak Prescott in the next season or 2. They could potentially bunch those first-round picks that they have together and potentially move up the draft. Does this move the needle for me in terms of where the Cowboys finish in the NFC East? Maybe not. I think I put them 3rd, finishing behind the Eagles and the Commanders. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's going to affect their record significantly. But obviously, it's a path down the road to maybe a soft rebuild over the next couple of years, which is badly needed, I think, in Dallas at the moment, because a lot of things have gone stale there. But I love their wide receiver room. I think CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I think both of them are potentially going to be close to 1,000 yards, if not more, barring injuries, obviously. So yeah. Anything else before we move on to our games, Guitar?
No, I agree with you, David. When we were doing our predictions, I got Cowboys finishing 3rd as well.
Yeah.
I don't think this move is going to improve them as much or decrease them slightly as well. I think the NFC East is between the Eagles and the Commanders, if not both of them going to go. But I don't see a 3rd team from that division going into the playoffs. And I was also going to mention the wide receiver room. We were going to talk about the opening game, but the wide receiver room, CeeDee Lamb, who had some questions as well off season, if he was going to sign a new contract, if he was going to go as well. And obviously George Pickens, a new signing for them. That's a great wide receiver room.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got Dak Prescott, the highest paid quarterback in the league. So obviously look at it on paper. I do like Jake Ferguson, the tight end, as well. I think he's an okay player. So yeah, it's one of them seasons for the Dallas Cowboys again. Unfortunately, I don't see them improving as much during this trade, but it's still make the noise. However, with the blockbuster trade, so
that's going to remain. And on the Dallas Cowboys, by the way, I'm really, really enjoying the Netflix documentary on the Dallas Cowboys. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely fascinating how their past history with Harold Landry, which he was a legendary coach who was there for over a decade, won some Super Bowls, and then the transition with the new ownership where Jerry Jones took over in the early 90s or late 80s, I think, and then the team where they basically started from nothing and they got these superstars in, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, all of these absolutely brilliant teams, and obviously they won a few Super Bowls in the 90s, but ultimately that's the last time that they won a Super Bowl. They haven't been to a Super Bowl ever since. So, on that, Gito, my only fear and my only question with the Cowboys is, are they going to be able to run the ball? Because I can't actually tell you who their starting running back is. Can you remind me? Do you know off the top of your head? Because
Unfortunately,
I know when they had Tony Pollard a couple of years ago, and before then Ezekiel Elliott, that was a massive part of their offense. And
yeah,
obviously, the Cowboys used to have one of the best O lines in the league a couple of leagues ago, but that has really gone. Um, that's become almost a negative part of their team. It's been
yeah,
their weakness.
yeah.
Who's their running back, by the way?
The right running back. Sorry, no, pardon me. CeeDee Lamb, Jordan Pickens, Javonte Williams is their running
Oh,
back.
Javonte Williams, the former
Um,
former Denver Broncos.
yeah,
Um,
with Miles Sanders behind him as well as a second.
Former
So
Eagles.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay, well, Javonte Williams. Yeah, he suffered a pretty nasty knee injury, and he hasn't been the same. But
hmm,
he's a power back. Yeah, and again, I don't know how good their O line is going to be. And talking about a team that going from a team that potentially can't run the ball to one of the best running teams in the NFL, who are they going to be facing tomorrow night? Like we said, the opening game of the weekend is always the Super Bowl champion, and this is time obviously the Philadelphia Eagles will be hosting the Dallas Cowboys, an inner divisional matchup. No love lost between two teams. It's always been a massive rivalry in the NFC East. So it's going to be if the Eagles are going to be able to solidify their running game with Saquon like they did last year when he went absolutely wild. And let's be honest, you're dealing with the best O-line in the game here. I genuinely don't know how the Cowboys are gonna be able to stop the run, and especially, you've got one less player in Micah Parsons to put pressure on Jalen
yeah,
Hurts as well. So the knock-on effect of not having Micah Parsons to stop the run and to rush the QB might be the defining factor tomorrow, because um, I think the Philadelphia at home opening game, they're going to try and solidify the run, and then obviously they have dynamic wide receivers, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. They've
yeah.
got Dallas Goedert. They've got so many options, and obviously Jalen Hurts is a mobile quarterback himself. How do you see? How do you see? Do you see a scenario, Gito, where the Cowboys maybe third or fourth quarter are either close to the Eagles, or do you actually see the Eagles winning quite comfortably?
Um, the only thing I would say about the Eagles this season, obviously, it's a Super Bowl defense, Super Bowl
Hmm.
defensive run. There, it's a new look defense for them. They've got rid of quite a few defensive players at the
Hmm.
start of free agency, or literally just straight after the Super Bowl. Obviously,
Yeah.
that defense pretty much helped them win the Super Bowl against the
Oh
Chiefs.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, Obviously, and the offense as well. But it's a new look defense this year for the Eagles. So
Hmm.
um, I am quite interested to see if they'll be as well, if not better than last season. But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
But I still see at the end of the day the Philadelphia Eagles. I still see them running the game with this one.
Yeah.
Obviously, Saquon Barkley, did he reach 2,000 yards last season?
No, I think he. Oh, he might have. I think he did
Yeah.
actually. Yes, he did.
Do you think he will do it this season?
No,
Hmm. Yeah,
no, I
I think,
don't.
yeah, I
It's
might agree with you on
very
that one.
very
He's
rare.
actually been ranked, by the way, the number one player in the NFL. I'm not sure if you've seen the top 100.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
He was
yeah.
the number one
Interesting.
player. Great wide receiver room: AJ Brown, Devontae Smith,
Mm,
Dallas Goedert in tight end, Jordan Mailata. He's a great left tackle.
yeah.
So but obviously the defense. I'm not worried about the defense. I wouldn't be worried if I was an Eagles fan, but
No.
it's something that will be studied, that will be looked at through the
Mm,
season to see if they'll be as good, if not better, than last season. So that's probably
yeah.
the only positive if you're a Cowboys fan to say, okay, we might be able to get some points against this defense, but how many points will they concede?
Yeah, I know. Because yeah, like you said, they did get rid of a lot of firepower on defense. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, CJ Gardner-Johnson. However, that's what the Eagles are, and we've talked about this, throughout the offseason. The Eagles are one of the best teams in terms of drafting. So they've been able to draft over the last 2 years Cooper DeJean, who is now a star at nickel cornerback or safety. They've signed Quinion Mitchell, who looks an absolute stud at cornerback as well. Yeah. They've got Jalen Carter, one of the best defensive linemen in the game. So they've got Zach Bourne, who was a Pro Bowler at linebacker as well. So they've got so many ridiculously young, talented individuals. They game wreckers. And ultimately, I see them able to go after Dak Prescott, because I don't know how comfortable Dak Prescott is when he's blitzed and when the pressure is really, really on. How mobile he is anymore, because he's had quite a lot of injuries and surgeries over the last couple of years. So, like I said, I trust the defense. I trust Vic Fangio to scheme up something. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. My dark horse for Defensive Player of the Year this year is potentially Jalen Carter. I think this is his time to take that step forward. We saw his ability and how much what's the word I'm trying to think? How much was drawn to him during the Super Bowl, whereas the defensive ends then, Sweat and others, were just basically clean at Mahomes. So Jalen Carter, he gains a lot of potential there. So yeah, I trust the defense, and the Eagles are always going to put up points on you as well. So if the Cowboys do somehow be able to, stay in the game late fourth quarter, I would be completely shocked. So I'm just putting down the Eagles for an opening day W here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, at the end of it all, obviously, with how I look at their defense and things, they're still a very strong team. So
yeah,
I agree with you. The Eagles, they're going to win week 1, without a doubt, unless something drastic happens, which I don't think it will. The Cowboys, they're not quite there yet in terms of being the top team in the NFL as they were in the 80s and 90s. But yeah. It'll be an entertaining opener, as always is. But Eagles taking home the W of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're going to do now. Is we're going to point out some of our favorite matchups, or some of the big games, the big head-to-heads. That's going to be during week 1 of the regular season, and then our last segment is going to be our new segment that I'm going to give Guto all the plaudits, because he came up with this. Guto, do you want to say what the idea and what we're going to be doing during our previews before every weekend?
Yeah, so this little segment that we're going to do, a very catchy name, if you ask myself, it's called 5 of the Week. So nice. If any viewers who's been a follower on my Twitter X account for the last few years, I used to do 5 of the Week. So every week we'll just pick 5 teams, and we'll go through 5 games. Pick 5 teams that's going to win their game. It's as simple as that. Now that we're doing this podcast, we're going to go a little bit more in depth as to why we think the selected teams are going to win their games. So this new segment we're going to do. We're going to do it every week. It's called 5 of the Week. We might throw a little bit of something special here and there, but we're going to keep it simple for week 1, David.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like to
basically
begin?
that's going to be our predictions, basically. Who's going to win
Yeah,
those 5
yeah.
games? And spoiler alert: the opening game of the regular season, Eagles Cowboys, is going to be one of them. So we'll get to our predictions shortly. However, some other notable games around the NFL. Obviously, we have to include the Dolphins and the Falcons, the 2 teams that we support in here. So, Gito, do you want to start with the Falcons? Where are you going to be over the weekend during the first game of the regular season?
Well, luckily, before I explain, as I don't know if everyone is aware, there was questions or where we UK and Ireland fans were able to watch the NFL. It's been confirmed there'll be games on Sky Sports. There'll be games on Channel 5 as well, free to air.
Yes.
I will be watching on Sky Sports. The Tampa Bay against Atlanta Falcons game will be live on Sky Sports Plus. So
Nice.
I'll be knitted and ready, supporting my team, the Falcons, watching that game. I'll probably have another game or 2 on the side as well, but that will be my main focus, obviously. So opening day fixture, Atlanta again at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to. Am I confident? I'm not sure. A lot of NFL insiders are rooting towards the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and rightly so. They're a great team, and I think I've mentioned countless times I was a big fan of their draft move with their new wide receiver room, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin Jr., who is questionable at the moment, but having him in the room with the new drafted Emeka Ekbuka. He's a sensational wide receiver. Just for those out there as well, we actually have a little NFL draft that we do personalise behind the scenes, and I actually drafted Emeka Ekbuka as well, so I'm a big fan of him.
Oh, in fantasy, you did, yeah.
Yeah. So, and obviously Baker Mayfield is his 8th season, I believe. He just keeps getting better every season, I think, David. Bucky Irvin and Rashad White and their running back. It's a very scary team, the Buccaneers. We were very lucky to not only beat them last season, but to do the double against them last season, I think we were very, very lucky to do that. I don't see that, as a Falcons fan, happening this year. I'm happy with what we did in the draft. Obviously, we even though we've only had 5 picks, which is probably like one of the lowest number of picks from a team. I think it was second or third. But we went defense heavy, especially in the first round. Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., they will be starters for us as well. So I'm really going to be rooting for them as well. But I don't see the Falcons having an opening win here. I really don't. I've thought about it. I think we'll do well in preseason. I think during our predictions, I had the Falcons finishing first. My opinion I'm going to keep to my stance on that one. I think we will make the playoffs. I think it is finally our year. But from what I'm reading, there's not a lot of confidence in the Falcons camp in terms of the analysts and insiders this season. Obviously, I think Tampa Bay were going to do really, really well. But I'm a little bit nervous on week 1. I think I don't know how many points we'll score, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Tampa Bay heavy game, to be honest with you. That's the way I'm feeling at the moment. We have the best offense in the league, in the division, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure with the new look defense, and but that's just probably me just being a Falcons fan. So,
I mean, I think the only thing with the Falcons is there are more question marks, especially on defense perhaps than you have with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are a more established team, whereas obviously Penix hasn't even started half a season.
4 or 5 games.
Yeah, exactly. So, and another thing, we haven't seen Penix or the starters during preseason as well. So we genuinely don't know how the offense is going to look unless you've been to some of the joint practices, and if you've been in training camp during, down in Atlanta, you'd know how they're looking. But from what I've heard, Gito, Penix has been looking absolutely phenomenal during training camp. Looking very,
I'm
very,
really
very
looking
good.
forward to watching him. And I hope he does. And I really hope he strives this season. I really hope he does.
Yeah. Like I said, my only concern is the lack of pass rush. Are you going to have? Because obviously you've got, like you said, you've got rookies starting on the D line there.
Yeah.
First game of the NFL, careers. Maybe are you going to have to kind of deal with some growing pains? Maybe that's to account with some rookies. I think it's going to be a closer game than, basically, put it this way. If Atlanta are going to be able to run the ball with Bijan Robinson, I think the Falcons will win. Put it that way.
I hope so. I hope so. Another thing I want to point out as well is we've not had a 10-sack season in a long time, and obviously with the new look, not a new look defense, but we've the new drafted players. I'm hoping that we can actually get that record sorted this season as well. It's something that's been kind of haunting us for the last few years, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for some positivity this season. We've got obviously Daniel Mooney still at this moment still questionable, but it would be great having him back. He's back in training, so that is always a positive. Drake London is a great wide receiver. Ray McLeod is next in line, wide receiver 3. Kadarius Hodge. Kadarius Hodge changed the game last season against the Buccaneers, obviously. But we'll see how they do. So, and obviously Kyle Pitts as well in Thailand. I think this will be probably his. If things don't go well for Kyle Pitts, he definitely has at least a season or 2 left with the Falcons. He has to improve, and I'm hoping his partnership with Penix Jr. that will change everything for us this season. I'm hoping. So, crossing everything for this game. I'm looking forward to watching it. Looking forward to watching the Falcons again. But yeah, it's a very, very tough game. A tough opener for us.
Last thing on the Falcons before we move on, Guto, how much of a loss is that injury to Conor McGarry?
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. It's a bit of a scary one for us, really. He might be out for. I'm not sure if it's a full season or.
I think it's season ending. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't have the cash to splash either. I think we've got the 3rd lowest salary cap in the league as well. So it's not like we can shop elsewhere for anyone who is just half as decent. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll be relying a lot on our defense to step up this season.
Yeah, the reason I put that is because I think he was a right tackle, so he would have been covering Penix's blind side because obviously he's a lefty, so so that obviously is a concern for me, especially going into week 1 to see how the O-line establishes themselves. But like I said, if they can somehow run the ball, and Bijan is probably one of the most talented running backs in the NFL, I genuinely can see a way where the Falcons will come out with a win. So maybe I'm a little bit more. Maybe you're a little bit more pessimistic because I guess you've been stung in the past, haven't you, Guto? And I completely understand as a Dolphins fan here.
Yeah, it's not great being a Falcons fan. I probably it's not the same, but not nice being a Miami Dolphins fan either. But
not great.
It's a vicious cycle. That's what it is.
I know.
But that's what the NFL is all about. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, you can go from worst to first, as they say. Yeah, it rarely happens, but it can happen. But anyway, quickly then on to the Dolphins game. So the Dolphins are going to be at the Colts, at the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah. That is a 6 p.m. game. When is the Falcons game a 6 p.m. game or is it a later game?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Cool.
Yes.
So obviously I'll be watching the Dolphins against the Colts, and the Dolphins will be coming up against Daniel Jones as the starter. Who would have thought? I genuinely thought that they were going to go with Anthony Richardson. I know that he dislocated his finger during the first preseason game, and it was going to be touch and go whether he was going to be good enough for week one. But clearly, they've gone with more consistency than the splash making ability of Anthony Richardson, who is a freak of an athlete. However, there's high ceiling, but then there's a low floor as well, because he is prone to making a lot of mistakes. He's been concussed in the past, where he's tried to be like Josh Allen used to be, tried to be Superman, and he's got himself absolutely smashed basically by defensive players. And he's not as accurate with his throwing as well. So the Dolphins lost to the Colts during the regular season last year, a game that we should have won with our backup QB. Tua Tagovailoa is back for the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, hopefully Devon Achane, our starting running back, is going to be okay. He is nursing a calf strain, so I'm really hoping maybe himself, and I'm hoping to see a lot of snaps for our running back 2 now, who is Ollie Gordon the second. He's a rookie. I've picked him in my fantasy, by the way, so I'll hopefully he'll be able to have a lot of snaps on Sunday. And then the other question mark, obviously, with the Dolphins. Well, there are lots of question marks with the Dolphins. Let's be honest. How are cornerbacks going to be? We've signed another cornerback, by the way. We signed Rasul Douglas a couple of days ago, so I guess he's going to be one of the starters. However, he had a dreadful season with the Bills last year. And the other big question for me, Guto, is what's going to happen as tight end. Apparently, Darren Waller, who hasn't hardly practiced at all during the off-season, is going to be starting on Sunday. He's hardly caught any passes at all. So either the Dolphins are hiding that he's got nursing some sort of injury. Obviously, he's been out the league 1 year. I'm just literally, I'm praying to the gods, and I'm just going to put it up there and just hope for the best on Sunday. If we can, like the Falcons, if we can establish the run, I think the Dolphins are a more well-rounded team than the Colts. The Colts have some really good pieces. I love Jonathan Taylor as the running back. They've got some really exciting pieces, like I said. DeForest Buckner is a really good defensive player. Michael Pittman, wide receiver, when he's on his game, he's very good. Josh Downs is another one as well. Hopefully, our pass rush is going to be good enough to get to Daniel Jones, who is very nervous in the pocket, and hopefully I'll be looking for a few sacks and maybe a turnover or two. So maybe our defense will be able to carry us this weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you in terms of the Dolphins being a more well-rounded team than the Colts. I think we were both surprised that the Colts were deciding to go with Daniel Jones as their QB1, for week 1 at least. I think Anthony Richardson is a very decent quarterback. He's got what it takes to be a good quarterback. He just needs a few years, maybe the right environment as well. I do like their wide receiver room with Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Tyler Warren is a great
Tyler Warren, of course, their rookie
Taylor,
tight end.
running back as well. But yeah, like you said, with the Dolphins, you got a lot of questionable players, obviously. Darren Waller, your tight end, Devon Achane, I think on Tyreek Hill as well. And you've got Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback as well. I've also just remembered you got Zach Wilson as your QB2 as well.
Yes.
From the Jets. Yeah. And you've also signed Matthew Judon, who played for the Falcons last season.
Okay, I love that signing. I absolutely love that signing, because
I was hoping he had signed another season with us, actually.
Sorry. But thank you very much. Yeah, we'll take him, because we badly need him. Over the last 2 years, 2 of our best defensive ends has been out for the season. So Jalen Phillips is coming off a torn ACL and a torn Achilles, and Chubb is coming off an ACL as well. So clearly we need some extra defensive ends there. We've got a really exciting second year player in Chop Robinson, who I potentially could be a star in the making. Hopefully, he had 6.5 sacks during the second part of last season after having a slow start. So hopefully he'll be able to crack on. And obviously we've got Zach Sealer, who is an absolute beast as a defensive tackle as well. So like I said, hopefully our D-line will be able to hold the fort, stop the run, and especially rush the quarterback as well. If that's effective, I hope and I do see the Dolphins winning on Sunday. Again, if Tyreek Hill is 100%, if Jalen Waddle is 100%, if we get Devon Achane on the ball, if we can get some running lanes, the Dolphins could potentially score a lot of points here. However, I can see with the Dolphins being a little bit rusty as well, because Tyreek has been out for 3 weeks. Jalen Waddle was out a week. Darren Waller hasn't practiced at all. So Tua hasn't actually had a lot of time to grow chemistry with these wide receivers. Obviously, he's been with Tyreek, excuse me, over the last 3 years, but he's been out with an abdominal strain. So I'm guessing you're going to have to rely on the running game, hopefully, and basically on muscle memory. So yeah, my fingers are really, really crossed. Even if we can just win a really, messy game, give me a 17-10 or something like that, 21-17 victory. As long as we're 1-0, that's all that matters. And by the way, just before I end, the Colts are 0-11 during the first week of the season over the last 12 seasons. They haven't won a regular season first game of the opening season in 12 years, which is crazy.
So it's destined that the Colts are going to win against the Dolphins, isn't it?
And the Dolphins during the Mike McDaniel era are 3-0 during week 1 as well. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to leave it at that. They are the stats. So yeah. What are the games of the week, Guitar, are you most looking forward to before we get the before we go to 5 of the week?
Yeah, so let's run through quickly. So I think Friday night, Saturday morning is an important game. Opening game, Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Chargers will be the designated home team against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think a lot of eyes will be on the Chiefs this year. A lot of people, including yourself, David, and I don't blame you, think that the Chiefs might fall off slightly this season with the Denver Broncos going up. It's one of them, obviously, but Denver Broncos, they're a very strong team. They've got great players everywhere, very well rounded. But a lot of eyes will be on Kansas City this year. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, the whole lot. It's them in the end. So, what's your view on the Chiefs quickly?
I think the Broncos are definitely closing the gap. Like you said, they've done some fantastic moves. I love Pat Surtain as their cornerback, probably the best in the league. The big question for me with the Broncos, Guitar, it all comes down to how Bo Nix plays during his second season. That's the biggest question for me, because they've clearly got the pieces around him. How good is he going to be the quarterback that we saw second half of the season or first half of the season? Because he was pretty rough towards the first 5 or 6 games. However, during their late run to the playoffs, he was fantastic and he was fearless at times as well. Then with the Chiefs, Mahomes looks really, really good during the during preseason. He looked really, really composed. I think their offense will definitely improve on last year. I wish Rashee Rice was playing, because if he was playing, if he was in the starting lineup, I would be very, very confident that the Chiefs are going to win this. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see with Pacheco back. Are they going to be able to run the ball? However, I think that the Chiefs are going to go back to what they did best a couple of seasons ago, was watch out for a lot of deep balls, Mahomes to Xavier Worthy. We saw that in the Super Bowl with probably the best touchdown of the Super Bowl. However, we didn't see that a lot last season. I think they're going to go after it this season, Guitar. In terms of the Chargers, quickly, I mean, I don't know. I'm really, really sorry. They don't excite as a team. They don't excite me at all. They really don't excite
Mm.
me. I don't rate their wide receiver room. Lad McConkey obviously had an exceptional season last year as a rookie. However, outside of that, Keenan Allen is back for probably his swan song last season. Uh, I don't rate them. Obviously, second season under Harbour. Obviously, and they've lost Rashawn Slater for the season as well. That's a massive loss for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only boost. I actually had them finishing above the Broncos, but obviously after losing the player through injury, I think having Hobo as a head coach is that slight bit of boost for them. I think Justin Herbert, their quarterback, he's a decent quarterback. He just can't get it over the line during the playoffs,
Nope.
which is a
Nope.
worrying thing for a quarterback. So, yeah, it depends how they play this season. Obviously, tough opening game against the Chiefs as well. Nobody wants to start off against the Chiefs unless you're the Ravens or the Bills.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah, I think this might be either. It could go either both ways for me. I think it could be one of the. What's the word I'm looking for? It could be the team to watch, or it could be a very, very poor season for them. I don't think there's no in between, to be honest.
Yeah. Mediocrity.
So,
yeah.
That's the one.
Talking of the Bills and the Ravens, surely this is the best showdown of week one. What is it? Ravens at Bills. Sorry, it's up in Buffalo.
At the Bills. Yeah.
Obviously, this is Buffalo's last regular season in Highmark Stadium. They're going to be moving into their new stadium, which looks very, very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, two high flyers of the AFC, two of the finalists for the MVP last season, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I think, Guitar, that the Baltimore Ravens defense is going to cause the Bills some trouble here. And on the other side of the ball, the Bills defense were average at best last year, and I don't think that they're going to be any better this year. And unfortunately, the Bills, I know that I might be a bitter Dolphins fan because the Bills have won the division 4 seasons in a row, but Buffalo are one injury on the O-line away from being a lesser team. And I know you could say that for a lot of teams. If you can put some pressure on Josh Allen and somehow stop the run, I think the Ravens can definitely win this game. In fact, obviously they've got Derrick Henry as their standout running back. I just love the Baltimore defense. I think that it is a nasty, nasty defense. Kyle Hamilton is an absolute stud. And they've got some wrecking balls on the D line as well. So this is all going to come down to the battle of the trenches, Guitar. Which O line is going to dominate the D line and vice versa as well. How do you see this one going?
This will probably be one of, if not the game of the week. It's a late game, Sunday night game. Monday morning for us, 1:20 a.m. I'd love to stay up and watch. I'm going to try my best.
Yeah, I'm going to try as well.
Arguably, two of the best teams in the AFC. However, with what you said about the Buffalo, obviously they're an injury or two away from not being a top 2 team, I think. I believe, I didn't have them even winning the division. Not division, the actual AFC. I didn't have them winning the AFC. I think the Ravens, I think especially this year, they're a slightly better team than the Bills. I'm not saying the Bills are on thin ice, but obviously they need to watch out with their player fitness, with injuries. But Josh Allen, he could change a game, and they're playing at home. Their last season at the stadium as well. It's tough to predict. I'll let you do the predictions for this one, David, but later on. But this is a very exciting game. Two heavyweights of the AFC. if this is not a good advert for week one, I don't know what is.
Absolutely. Another thing to note in terms of that game, unfortunately, Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely, I believe, is going to be out for this game, so he's not going to be playing. Mark Andrews will be. How will that affect their passing game? I'm not quite sure. It's definitely, obviously, going to be one less, because Isaiah Likely is a brilliant receiving tight end as well. I think he's brilliant. I love him. Again, I drafted him in my fantasy league as well. Buffalo's wide receiver room is meh at best. They've got Khalil Shakir is their number one. They've signed Josh Palmer from the Chargers. He's going to be probably their number two as well. They signed Josh Cook, their running back, to an extension. And like I said, the Bills have been very, very fortunate because their O-line haven't suffered a single injury in the last 2 years. They've been able to be very, very consistent. They've been able to run the ball, and they've been able to keep Josh Allen pretty upright during those last 2 seasons as well. And obviously, Josh Allen is a massive running threat, as we know, as a quarterback. So yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna keep my predictions for now, but I think I have a fair idea of where this one is about to go, and hopefully the Ravens will be able to do us, the Dolphins, a favor for week one.
Yeah, that would be good for you guys, actually. Yeah, but I think I know where you're going with the prediction, and I can't say I disagree with you. I think one team is just a little bit stronger on both ends than the other. So, but
okay,
we'll keep that in their suspense for now.
Shall we finish off with our last segment and get to 5 of the week?
Yeah, let's go for it. So 5 of the week. Obviously, we'll start off with the first game, which was the Eagles and the Cowboys. We both decided that the Eagles are going to get the W on this one, Dyfed.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're going to do. How this is going to work, by the way. But so Gito's going to choose 2. I'm going to choose 2. And obviously for week 1, we've chosen the opening game of the regular season, Eagles Cowboys, tomorrow night. So like we said, we've already said, Gito, obviously, both of us have said Eagles to win. Kate, predict a score?
Yep. Predict the score. Eagles 28. Cowboys 17.
Okay, I'm not far off, to be fair. I'm going to go Eagles 30, Cowboys 21.
Cool. Well, all right. Nice. I never get these scores right, but we'll wait and see.
I mean, yeah.
So,
Gito, do you want to go with your
week? Do you want to go with?
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to go with your opening game? Who have you chosen as your opening game for 5 of the week?
Okay, so one game I'm quite looking forward to. Probably 2 teams didn't do so well last season. However, they've did quite a bit of business during the off season. I'll be watching this one quite closely as well. The New England Patriots are home to the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. Obviously, 2 teams, like I said, did the business. Raiders, they've got a new head coach in Pete Carroll. They've brought in Geno Smith, their quarterback. Ashton Jeanty as their running back as well during the draft. They've got a pretty good wide receiver room. Myers, Murray Cooper, Brock Bowers, a tight end, against the sort of New England Patriots. Drake May, his second season. He did okay last season. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to do this season.
Yeah.
He's not down as a number 1 running back, but I'm really looking forward to watching Tre'Von Henderson this season.
Yes.
He's had a really, really decent, really good pre-season for the Patriots, and I'm really excited. I've actually drafted him as well, so I'm really looking forward to watching him. Stefan Diggs, we'll see how that turns out. Obviously, he's actually questionable for week 1 at the moment. Hunter Henry as their tight end, and they've signed some defensive players as well. So this is one game I'm really looking forward to, and I'm gonna go. I think this game could go 50-50. It could go either way. But I'm actually going to go with a home win on this one. I'm going to go with the New England Patriots winning on week 1 against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Like I said, Gino's first start with Mike Vrabel as a new coach up in New England. Obviously, his speciality is defensive side of the ball. So they're going to be better. They've signed Milton Williams as a defensive lineman. Like I said, at least Drake May, hopefully, I know you said Stephon Diggs is questionable to start. If he does start, at least he's going to have some decent wide receivers to throw at, because with all due respect, the last crop of wide receivers the Patriots have had over the last 2 or 3 years have been absolutely trash. They've been terrible.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a very run-heavy team, Guto. So definitely look out for Trevion Henderson. I'd have to agree with you with that one. I'd definitely put down the Patriots for a win, because ultimately I don't trust the Raiders' defense to get it done. And outside of Max Crosby, I don't see them putting any pressure on Drake May as well. I completely agree with you. So we've already mentioned it. Let's go back to, obviously, probably outside of the Dolphins, the game that I'm looking forward to is obviously that blockbuster one that's going to be up in Buffalo, New York, between the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. I've made it very, very clear that I believe that the Ravens are a better team, even though the Bills are going to be at home. High intensity, high emotional. Like I see last season at Highmark Stadium. But ultimately, I think the Ravens are going to win, Guto. So I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be Ravens 28, Bills 24.
Oof. Yeah, like I said, it's 2 heavyweights. This is a good advertisement for a week 1 game. It's just a shame that it's not an earlier slot, that it's late in the morning for us anyway. But what an exciting game to open week 1.
Absolutely.
This could be an AFC Championship game as well. So it could be the first game of the season and second to last game of the season as well. So it's an exciting game. It's a very exciting game. Ready for my next pick?
Go for it.
So another team that I'm looking forward to, which I think is going to do really, really well this year, and I'm actually looking forward. I'll be going to watch them in London, at Wembley. It's a 9:25 game. The LA Rams are home against the Houston Texans. Quick note on the Houston Texans: I think they will go through to the playoffs. However, it will be from the weakest division.
By
the
far.
NFC South. Our division has always been the weakest division. Nobody wants to get out of that one, it seems. But I think the Texans division this year, I think it will be the weakest one, I believe, this season. But obviously, I'm a big fan of CJ Stroud. They've got Nick Chubb as their running back, Nico Collins as well. But to me, there's something telling me that the Rams, obviously, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford, this might be his final season or 2, maybe. Who knows? He's got 2 or 3 seasons on it in him. Kyren Williams as their running back. I think, the Rams have a very, very strong team. I think Devontae Adams is going to do really well in this Rams team. He's had a few bad luck in the last few years, in his last years with the Raiders. Didn't work out with the Jets, but I think he's going to do really well here with the Rams. And the Rams, for me, are going to win on opening week.
Yeah, if you've been watching our series when we ranked our divisions, for me, the Rams are the dark horse of the NFC. But again, it all comes down to Guto. How fit is Matthew Stafford? Because that's all I've been hearing is he's been having a lot of trouble with his back over training camp and the preseason. He hasn't played during the preseason, I believe. But like I said, they've got some stars on offense. Love Kyron Williams. I think Devontae Adams, like you said, is a fantastic move for them. He's a brilliant fit in that offense. And then they've got some really talented individuals. Their D line last year was nasty. Jerome Curse, I absolutely loved him. He was one of the defensive rookies of the year for me. They can definitely get after the quarterback, and I think they ultimately will, because I don't trust the Houston O-line whatsoever. I don't think that the Texans will be able to run the ball either, because they're starting running back, former Bengals running back. I can't remember what his name now. It'll come back to me. But anyway, they haven't got Tank Dell either. He's still out. So it's going to be down to CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, basically. But definitely put me down. Put the Rams down for an opening day win here. To be honest with you, I don't see the Texans coming close in this game.
No, me neither. Quick note on the Rams as well. It just came to my head actually. During the draft, obviously the Falcons traded a first-round pick with the Rams, so we can draft 2 first-round players this season. The Rams will have 2 first-round picks next season, wherever they'll finish.
Yep.
And obviously with the status on Matthew Stafford and obviously my boy Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know, I just have a soft spot for Jimmy Garoppolo. Having them 2 quarterbacks, they could be in the hunt for a new quarterback next season. In the draft,
definitely.
You never know. They'll have 2 first-round picks. Where the Falcons will finish, who knows? But they'll have 2 picks in the first round. Probably get a decent quarterback.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Joe Mixon is the Texans running back, by the way, who's not going to be available for the beginning of the season. Again, the Texans have a decent defense, but I just don't see them slowing down this Rams offense with so many options. Kyron Williams is a really, really good running back as well. He's a physical running back, and he had a decent season last year. So yeah absolutely. So Guto, what do you think? What's your score prediction for this game?
I think the Rams are gonna run away with this one. Unfortunately, I don't see the Texans getting more than. Again, I don't see them getting more than 17 points to Texans. I think the Rams will get 31-17.
Well, in my head, I had Rams 32, Houston 16. So we're on the same level there.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely. Yeah. However, if both of us are wrong and the Houston Texans actually win this game, that'll be the end of the pod, obviously, because what do we know? So, but no, I'm joking. So anyway, so we've covered 4 of our 5. So this is going to be the last one, Guto. And the last one that I love to talk about is, well, it has so much drama attached to this game. You've got 2 revenge tours in one. You've got Aaron Rodgers' revenge tour with the Jets, and you've got Justin Fields' revenge tour with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both of them are going to be starting. Potentially, this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last season. If you're a neutral, maybe you'd hope, because he's been hopeless the last 2 seasons. Although he's going to the Hall of Fame undoubtedly, and as we've seen with the Pittsburgh Steelers over the offseason, Guto, they are clearly going all in on this one season. They've signed DK Metcalf. They've signed Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith. They've signed a former Eagles cornerback, Darius Slay, as well. So my only thing is, outside they've re-signed. They've given their running back Jalen Warren an extension over the last couple of days as well. My only worry, Guto, is who outside of DK Metcalf in that wide receiver room is going to be able to carry the load, I guess, or carry the mantle outside of DK himself. He's going to have a lot of snaps and a lot of balls thrown his way. We know that the Pittsburgh defense can be very, very talented. Obviously, they're going to be minus Minkah Fitzpatrick because he's been traded as part of the Jalen Ramsey trade. And then I genuinely don't know what to do with the New York Jets. Obviously, they've got a brand new coach in Aaron Glenn, former Detroit defensive coordinator. Ultimately, I think it's a really good decision. I think he's going to be a really, really good coach. However, I do not trust what I've seen and what I've heard of Justin Fields. He has looked very, very, very dodgy during the preseason.
Yeah. And I'm gutted about that one because I do like Justin Fields. I think there is a good player in there. It's just going to take a while. I think it might just take a while for him to come out. But I'm hoping him joining the Jets, and I hope he stays there I hope it works out for him for a good few years. Whether the result go his way, I'm not sure what result. I don't know what you're going to say yet, but I think I know who I think is going to win this game. However, I would like to see Justin Fields have a good game in this game. I'd like to see him score a couple of touchdowns just to show that he's a decent player, and which I'm a strong believer that I think he is. Not a world-class player, obviously, but I think he's got, there's some levels there. There's a good player there. I'm hoping this new team is the right place for him. Obviously, he started okay. He started well for the Steelers last season. He went 4-2 before Russell Wilson took over for the rest of the season. So, he has the capability to win games. So, obviously, he's going up against Aaron Rodgers, his final season in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see where the Steelers will finish, if they'll make the playoffs or not. They've not had a losing season in over 12 seasons, I believe. I know they've got an aging Aaron Rodgers with Mason Rudolph behind him as a QB2. So it will be interesting to see where this game will go. I'm intrigued to know what your prediction is on this one, David.
Yeah, just before I give you a prediction, Guto, obviously Justin Fields, I think it's fair to say, held the fort until Russ came back last season. Obviously, 4-2 is a very, very good record, but ultimately Pittsburgh had a very, very good defense as well. Just a few things about the Jets as well. They have had a significant injury today. I'm not sure if you've seen. They've lost one of their O-linemen potentially for the season, Elijah Vera Tucker, their guard. He's a very, very good player when he's fit, and unfortunately, he's been injured. I think he's a lot. From what I've heard, it's potentially a torn tricep, that would mean he's done for the season. He is having a second meeting with surgeon or with the doctors, I believe, tomorrow. But he's going to be out for at least 4 games, the beginning of the season, regardless. But if it's a torn tricep, like I said, he's done for the season, and that's going to affect the Jets' ability to A, run the ball, which I'm not convinced they can do with Breece Hall, and B, protect Justin Fields as well. If Fields is going to be successful this year, is going to be on the ground, not through the air.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We've seen that those air balls that he's been throwing in training camp. And outside of Garrett Wilson, I don't think much of their wide receiver room either, if I'm honest with you. They've still got Alan Lazard there. Goodness me. Outside of that, I do like Mason Taylor, their new second round tight end, though. I really wanted the Dolphins to go after him, obviously, because he's the son of Dolphins legend Jason Taylor, Hall of Famer, by the way. But anyway, obviously, it's all going to come down to as well how Aaron Glenn is going to scheme up this Jets defense, who 2 or 3 seasons ago under Robert Saleh was the best defense in the NFL. So obviously, Sauce Gardner, He's had a massive extension. He had a really, really rough year last year. And they've got some decent pieces as well. Good, really, really good safeties, linebackers as well, decent D linemen. But ultimately, Guto, before you give your prediction, I am going to predict that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take home the W here. They're going to take care of business during week one. I think it's going to be a step too far for the Jets in week one. So my prediction, I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be Pittsburgh 21, New York Jets 14.
Funny you should say that. I was thinking 21-14 as well.
There we go.
But yeah, I agree with you on this one. I do hope that Justin Fields will have a decent game just to show that he is a decent enough player. But I think the Pittsburgh, I think they'll win this one as well, David.
Yeah.
I'd bet my money on Pittsburgh on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we are. We've covered our 5 of the week. We've covered, obviously, the opening game of the season. That's going to be tomorrow between the Eagles and the Cowboys. And we've touched on some of some of the other games outside of the Dolphins and the Falcons that we're most looking forward to. So hopefully you're now all set, ready for the opening weekend of the season. Like I said, both of us. Well, are you going to stay up to watch the Eagles Cowboys tomorrow night, Guto?
I'll see. I'm not decided on that just yet. But
Okay.
I'll see. I'll try my best.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll definitely wake up early enough before making my way to work. Catch the highlights, read the stats. I'll do my best. Get as much highlights on that as possible. I'll definitely be trying to stay up for the Chiefs Chargers game. That will be streamed on YouTube on Friday night. I'll definitely be up for that one.
Yeah, and like you said at the beginning, obviously there's going to be more options for us here in the UK now to watch football. Obviously, I'm very excited to see the new procedure with Channel 5. So they're going to have 2 live games, I believe, every single weekend. You've got the Chiefs Chargers are going to be free on YouTube to watch. You've got obviously some of the main games, the main events on Sky Sports as well. So there's so many different options, streaming options or whatever, to watch the NFL. Or if you want to watch, if you want to guarantee yourself to watch every single game, you can always get NFL Network or DAZN as well. So like I said, so many different options. So hopefully you're all set, ready for week one. Hopefully we've got you a little bit more hyped up, more excited, ready for the week one. I hope the hope in all of you is high as the sky at the moment, and we will be back with you very, very shortly to preview what's happened over the weekend during the first regular game of the 2025-2026 season. However, before we leave you for this evening, and thank you very much for staying with us, because I know this is going to be a longer episode than usual. We've just passed the hour mark. So like I said, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at NFL Pod. We're on Twitter as well, and obviously we are free to watch on YouTube. Type in NFL Cymru Pod, and you will find us along with all the episodes that we've done so far. But before we end, Guto, I believe that we've got a new offer if you're into NFL fantasy.
Yes. So if you download the app, Fantasy Game Day app, which is basically just a weekly fantasy game, you pay £3 for a game. You might pay £7 for a game, depending on the matchup, depending on the structure of the games. If for new customers, use the code Cymru at sign up to get a second free entry. If you need more information, just give us a message or message at fantasy_game-day on socials. The link will be in the description on YouTube as well. And also always gamble responsibly.
Yes, absolutely.
So you have to.
it's got. I know it's in the small print. I know it seems obvious, but you've got to say it, don't you? Especially. So yeah, thank you to our friends over there for the code. So remember the code Cymru, spelled CYMRU. So there we are. there we are, Guto.
Yep.
That is our first preview show done and dusted. Obviously, best of luck to the Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Bucks over the weekend. Like I said, I'll be watching a close eye on the Dolphins against the Colts as well, and we will be back sometime next week with a preview of all the games. Obviously, I'm sure that there's going to be some shocks, and we will have to recap, Guto, how many games out of our 5 of the week that we got did we predict correct or incorrect as well. So that's going to be interesting, how many of the 5 that we got right as well. So, but anyway, thank you so much again for listening. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi gyd am wrando. Enjoy the opening weekend. Best of luck to all your teams. And we will see you very, very shortly. Diolch.